Hello there everyone, my name is Aaron Racer and this is Math Magic. Today I'm going to show you a trick on how are we going to find the portion of a certain number given its super accurate percentage. This trick that I'm going to show you in this episode can be done both mentally and on paper. Alright, so as you can see we have here 5 items in a list from 56.22% of 470 on letter A down to 6.75% of 232 on letter E. So as you can see, the percentages are really accurate as in they have two decimal places, like for example, 24.69%, 81.47%, and 6.75%. So we're going to find all those portions of a certain number that was given. All right, now let us start with the first number we have in our list. We have here 56.20% of 470. Right, now let me just rewrite this 470 here. Okay, now in order for us to get this portion of 470, all we have to do is divide our solution into two parts. The first part would be finding 56% of this number, while our second part would be for finding the remaining 0.22% of this number. Right now, let's move to this first part. In order for us to get 56% of 470, we have to first analyze what 56% is composed of. So 56% is just like having 50% of 470 and the 6% of that number combined. So for 50%, we can just divide 470 by 2, or we can get the 10% of 470, which is 47, and multiply it by 5. And our answer would be 235. All right, now, since we already have the 50% here, all we have to do is to get the remaining 6%. So how are we going to do that? Do we have to repeat the process all over? No. All we have to do is just to do a simple trick. All we have to do is just to move one decimal place of 235 to the left. Why? That's because we want to make 50% become 5%, and that's just by simply moving one decimal place towards the left. And so in that way, we can make it to 23.5. Okay, and then to get the 6%, the next step would be making 470 become 4.70, because in every shift of our percentage, like for example, shifting from 1% from 1% to 2%, there's always an interval of 4.70, which is 1% of that number. Now, 23.5 plus 4.70 is equal to 28.20. And now 28.20 is 6% of this number. Next, now that we have 50% and 6% of 470, the last thing we have to do is to combine these two answers. Now, 235 plus 28.20 result to 263.20. And that's going to be the 56% of 470. Now let us move to the second part of our solution, where we are going to also analyze what this is composed of. So this is actually just 0.20% and 0.02% combined. Now, here's a simple trick. All we have to do is to get a 20% first. Then we're just going to move one decimal place towards the left in order for us to get 2%. And then the last thing would just be moving two decimal places to the left so we can get 0.22%. So we will not get confused about finding 0.20% directly, because it's really confusing to find, and it would actually make us get an incorrect answer. So this is the simple trick that we have to do. All right. Okay, so 0.20%, let me just resert this one right here. Moving two decimal places to the left. So it could be a landmark so we cannot forget. Right now, 0.20%. We can just get the 10% of 470 again, which is 47, then multiply to 2, and we are going to get an answer of 94. And then for 2%, we have to just move one decimal place to the left, and that is 9.4. And then we got to add those two answers, 94 plus 9.4, and it will be 103.4. Then that's going to be 22%. Now, we have to use this reserve right now. We have to move two decimal places towards the left, and that will become 1.034, which is our answer for 0.20% of 470. Right. The very final step for this one is to combine both of our answers. So 63.20 plus 1.034, and that would be 264 plus 234. And there you go. That's our answer for the 56.22% of 470. So if you guys want to check that in a calculator, then feel free to check it so you can be able to have an accurate answer. So we can use this trick in the next coming items, or if you guys want to use it in an exam, you can also do so. All right, now in order for us to check this in the calculator, all we have to do is, with having our percentage, which is 56.22%, all we have to do is just convert that into a decimal. Remove the percentage, we're going to move two decimal places to the left in order for us to achieve the decimal. And so 56.20%, once converted into a decimal, it would become 0.5622. And then we multiply it towards the number we're finding for, which is 470. And there you go. The answer matches with the answer in our solution, which is 264.234. All right, that's it. Now let's move on to the second item in our list, which is 24.69% of 256. All right. Now, same procedure as with others, how we have done it in the first part. We have to just divide a solution into two parts, which is, for this part, we have here 24%, and for the next part, we're going to find the remaining 0.69%. Now, here's another trick. You can see that 24% and 0.69% are actually somehow confusing and difficult to get. And so what we wanted here is to find a much bigger way, a much easier way to get the portion of this number quickly. Now, if you would realize or recognize, 24% is just one step away from 25%. And 0.69% is just also one step away from 0.70%. So why did I say this? It is because that 25% and 0.70%, because getting 25% and getting 0.70% of this number is much more easier compared to getting 24% and 0.69%. That's what I said a while ago. All right, so we have to just get these these portions of the number. All right, so we have to just proceed with 25% and then just adjusting our answer to make it become 24%. All right, now how do we do that? For 25%, that's just like dividing 256 by 4, and our answer is 64. And then, because this is 25%, we want it to become 24%. Let us subtract 2.56, which is the 1% of 256. All right, now it would be 61.44. Right, so that is 24% of this number. 24% of this number. Okay, so next is to find 0.70% of 256. So getting the 0.70% of 256 is like getting the 10% of 256, which is 25.6, and then multiplying it by 7. Our answer then would be 179.2. All right, so next thing to do is to adjust our answer to make it become 0.69%. How? That's just only the same procedures how we did it here. All we have to do is just to subtract this number to 2.56. All right, so let's do that. 2.56. All right, there you have it. Right. Becomes 176.64. Now, since this is 69% of 256, we have to find the 0.69% of it. That is just the same thing how we done it in the previous item. We have to move two decimal places towards the left. So it becomes here 1.7664. So that is going to be the 0.69% of 256. The next thing we have to do is combine both of these answers. We have here 61.44 and 1.7664. So we have to combine them in order for us to achieve the 24.69% of 256. So just rewrite both of our answers. We have here 61.44 and 1.7664. Right. So all in all, we will achieve the answer of 63.2064, which is our final answer for 24.69% of 256. Right. So if you guys want to check the calculator, then do so. Okay. So we are going to check it. So 0.2469 times 256, there you go, 63.2064. Right, next one, we have 41.35% of 5,400. So let me just write for 5,400 here. Okay, so next, so same procedure. What we have to do is just to find first 41% here, and next one is to find the remaining 0.35% in this part. All right, so 41% is just like the combination of 40% of 5,400 and 1% of 5,400 combined. The sum of 40% is 10% of 5,400, which is 540. Then multiply that to 4, and we will achieve an answer of 2,160. So that's going to be 40% of 5,400. Now, how about 1%? The 1% of that is just going to be 54 and not actually 5.4, because a while ago, the numbers we had was just only belonging to the hundreds place, and they were below 1,000, while this one, it was above 1,000. So there is an increase in the number of digits that we will have in the 10%. It's going to be 1%. And so all we have to do is just combine both of these answers so we can get 41% of 5,400. And our answer is going to be 2,214. So that's going to be the 41% of 5,400. All right, next step is to find the remaining 0.35%. What we have to do here is just to divide this into smaller parts. We have here 0.30% and 0.05%. We'll just rewrite that again. So 0.05%. All right, so let me just put the reservation here. To get a 30%, all we have to do is just to get the 10% of 5,400, which is 540, and then we multiply it by 3. And our answer would be 1,620. All right, and then we get the remaining 5%, which is just 10%, the 10% of the number we're talking about, and divide it by 2, and it's equal to 270. All right, so we just add these two values so we can get the 35%. All right, there you go, 1,890. So we have to follow the thing we must do. We're going to move this two decimal places towards the left, and it would become 18.90. So that is the remaining 0.35% of 5,400. So let's now combine these two answers we got. We have here 2,214 and 18.19. Let's add them both. We have here 2,214 plus 18.90, and we are going to get the answer of 2,232.90. All right. So let's check that in the calculator. Point 4135 times 5,400. All right, there you go. 2,232.9. All right, so we're just having our last two items solved. Our second to the last item, we have here 81.47% of 400. Okay, so with getting 81.47% of 400, we do not have to divide our solution into two parts. That is because getting this portion of 400 is just like getting 81.47% of 100. Now, what's the difference? The difference is just multiplying your answer by 4. Now, let me just redo that here. So we have here 81.47 times 4. And now once you're able to answer this, you already got the 81.47% of 400. And the answer for that is 325.88. So that is the 81.47% of 400. Let's move on to the last part. We have here 6.75% of 232. So let me just rewrite 232 here. And then we're going to divide our solution into two parts. For the first part, we're going to find 6%. And for the last part, we're going to find the remaining 0.75%. Now, let's make 6% 5% so we can be able to easily calculate or compute for the 6% of 232. So 5%, getting the 5% of 232 is just like dividing 232 by 2. And our answer would be 116. Now, in order for us to get the 6% of this number, is that we would just have to move one decimal place to the left. So from 116 is going to become 11.6, and then we're going to add 1% of 232, which is 2.32, and on all we're going to get 13.92. Okay, so 13.92 is our 6% of 232. Alright, now let's get the remaining 0.75%. So getting 75% of 232 is like dividing 232 by 4, and then our answer would be multiplied to 3, so we can get 75%. Then moving two decimal places to the left afterwards, so we can make it 0.75%. So 232 divided by 4 is equal to 58. And then 58 times 3 is equal to 174. So we move two decimal places to the left, and we are going to get the answer of 1.74. And now combining our answers, 13.92 plus 1.74, and we're going to get the value of 15.66. So 15.66 is 6.75% of 232. Right, let us check that in the calculator. And same also with the 81.47% of 400. 0.8147 times 400 first. All right, there you go, 325.88. And now for our last value, we have here 0.0675, because it's different from 0.675, because it actually just means 67.5. So all we have to do is just to make it have another 0 before 6 would start. 0.0675 multiplied to 232, and there you go, 15.66. So that's how we are going to compute for the percentage of a certain number, or the portion of a certain number given this kind of percentage. So just to summarize the trick, all we have to do is just to break down the percentage into several portions, or into several numbers. Like for example, 41% a while ago, we break that down into 40% and 1%. And in that way, we were able to find the portion of that number much easier. See you guys again in another video of Math Magic, where I'm going to give you guys more tricks and more math lessons as well. Please also subscribe now to my channel if you guys haven't subscribed yet. Like and follow my Facebook page, and as well as to share this video to all your friends for them to learn about my Math Magic tricks. See you guys again in another video of Math Magic. My name is Aaron. So stay safe and keep following Math Magic. Bye!